Are you tired of being told to think positive while you're drowning in anxiety? Exhausted from trying to care about everything and everyone, only to feel completely drained? What if the real path to peace isn't about adding more motivation, but about subtracting unnecessary baggage? What if the ultimate power move is to stop seeking approval and start trusting your own values? This isn't about giving up. This is about getting real. It's about learning to protect your energy like the precious resource it is, about investing your F's only in what truly aligns with your purpose. In this transformative audio summary, you will discover how to distinguish between what's truly important and what's just noise, why embracing your imperfections is the key to genuine confidence, how to turn your struggles into sources of strength, the freedom that comes from accepting your ordinary humanity. If you're ready to stop performing for others and start living for yourself, this journey is for you. If you're serious about reclaiming your mental space and energy, join our community. Subscribe to Audio Vibes, hit the bell for more life-changing content, and if this message speaks to you, like and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your journey to authentic living starts now.
Chapter 1: The Counterintuitive Approach to a Good Life. Let me ask you a question that might feel uncomfortable. Have you ever had a day where everything was technically fine, but you still felt miserable? Maybe you scrolled through social media and saw someone from high school celebrating a huge achievement, and instead of feeling happy for them, you felt a sinking feeling in your stomach. Or perhaps you spent an entire weekend trying to relax, only to feel more anxious and guilty because you weren't being productive. This feeling, this modern anxiety, is what we're going to explore right now. And the solution we've been sold is a lie. We live in the most comfortable time in human history. We have access to more information, more entertainment, and more convenience than any generation before us. Yet rates of anxiety, depression, and dissatisfaction have never been higher. There's a fundamental disconnect here that we need to understand if we want to break free from this cycle. The conventional self-help world would tell you the problem is that you're not positive enough, that you need to visualize success better, repeat affirmations in the mirror, or practice gratitude more forcefully. But what if this constant pressure to feel good is actually what's making you feel so bad? This is the counterintuitive truth at the heart of this philosophy. The pursuit of happiness is what makes you unhappy. Let me explain this with a concept I call the feedback loop from hell. It works like this. You feel bad about something. Maybe you made a mistake at work or felt awkward in a social situation. You then remember all the advice telling you that you should be positive and confident. You realize you're not feeling positive, so you start feeling bad about feeling bad. Now you're stuck in a loop where you're anxious about being anxious, sad about being sad, and frustrated about being frustrated. It's like being trapped in a room where the only way out is a door that says, "Don't think about the door." The harder you try not to think about it, the more you can't think about anything else. Let me give you a real example that has nothing to do with offices or careers. Meet Sarah. Sarah is a new mother. According to every movie, every advertisement, and every social media post, this should be the happiest time of her life. But sometimes at 3 a.m. when she's feeding her baby for the third time that night, she doesn't feel happy. She feels exhausted, frustrated, and even resentful. Then she remembers she's supposed to be happy, and the guilt sets in. What's wrong with me, she thinks. Why can't I appreciate this precious time? This guilt makes her feel even worse, which makes her more frustrated, which makes her feel more guilty. She's trapped in the feedback loop from hell. The problem isn't that Sarah is a bad mother. The problem is her expectation that she should feel positive all the time during an objectively difficult life transition. This brings us to a crucial distinction. The desire for more positive experiences is itself a negative experience, and the acceptance of one's negative experiences is itself a positive experience. Let that sink in for a moment. When you stop fighting the fact that sometimes life is difficult, frustrating, or painful, when you accept that negative emotions are a normal part of the human experience, you remove their power over you. The resistance to what is causes more suffering than the thing itself. Think about physical pain. If you have a headache and you spend all your energy being angry about having a headache, tense about the discomfort, and anxious about when it will end, you've compounded the suffering. But if you simply acknowledge, I have a headache right now, and go about your business as best you can, the experience becomes much more manageable. The same principle applies to emotional pain. Now let's talk about why our modern world has become such a breeding ground for this type of suffering. For most of human history, people were too busy trying to survive to worry about whether they were fulfilled or living their best life. The problems were clear and tangible. Find food, build shelter, protect yourself from danger. Today, our survival needs are largely met for most of us, but our brains haven't evolved to handle this level of comfort and security. So we invent problems. We create emotional emergencies where none exist. The coworker who didn't reply to your email becomes a personal affront. The slight weight gain becomes a crisis of self-worth. The casual comment from a relative becomes proof of our inadequacy. We've taken our brain's incredible capacity for problem solving and turned it against ourselves. We're like fire alarms going off because someone lit a candle. The system is working perfectly. It's just calibrated wrong for our current environment. This miscalibration is what the book calls the feedback loop from hell in our minds. We have so much mental energy with nowhere productive to direct it, so we turn it inward and start dissecting every thought, every feeling, every interaction until we've created mountains out of molehills. The solution isn't to try to stop having thoughts and feelings. That's impossible. The solution is to change what we value, to recalibrate our internal compass away from chasing constant positivity and toward pursuing what's meaningful, even when it's difficult. This is the subtle art, learning to distinguish between what's actually important and what just feels urgent in the moment, between what genuinely aligns with your values and what society has told you should matter. Let me give you another example outside of parenting or work. Imagine two friends having an argument. One feels slighted because the other forgot their birthday. The forgotten friend could spend days obsessing over this, what it means about their friendship, whether they're valued, why the other person would do this. They could craft elaborate stories in their mind about intentional disrespect and fading affection. Or they could consider that their friend has been going through a stressful time at home, has 3 kids to take care of, and probably forgot their own mother's birthday last week. They could choose to give their friend grace, recognize that this single incident doesn't define their entire relationship, and move on without another thought. The difference isn't in what happened. It's in what each person chose to give a f about. This is the fundamental shift we're working toward, moving from being reactive to everything that happens to us to being selective about what we allow to occupy our mental and emotional space. As we move through this book together, we'll explore exactly how to make this shift, how to choose better values, how to embrace being wrong, how to find freedom in accepting your ordinary humanity, and how to use the reality of mortality to focus on what truly matters. But for now, I want you to simply notice. For the next 24 hours, just observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When you find yourself getting upset or anxious, ask yourself, is this actually important, or does it just feel important right now? Am I stuck in a feedback loop from hell, You don't need to change anything yet, just notice. Because awareness is always the first step toward change. The goal isn't to never care about anything. The goal is to care about the right things, the things that actually improve your life and the lives of those around you, rather than the things that just make you miserable. And that is the counterintuitive beginning to building a life that's not just happy sometimes, but meaningful always.
Chapter 2. Choose your struggles wisely. The architecture of a meaningful life. If the first chapter was about diagnosing the problem, the feedback loop from hell, then this chapter is about the most important prescription for healing. It's about the single most significant decision that will determine the quality of your life. A decision so fundamental that most people never consciously make it. That decision is this: what are you going to choose to struggle for? Because here is the uncomfortable, liberating truth that most self-help gurus won't tell you. Life is, and always will be, a series of problems and struggles. There is no destination called problem-free. Anyone who promises you a life without hardship is selling you a fantasy. The goal, therefore, is not to find a life with no struggles. The goal is to find the struggles you enjoy, the struggles that feel meaningful to you, the struggles that are worth the pain. Think of it this way. Happiness is not the absence of problems. Happiness is the feeling you get when you're solving problems you find meaningful. It's the process of engaging with worthy challenges. Let's dismantle a massive cultural myth right now. We're taught to believe that the perfect life is one of comfort, ease, and pleasure. A life on a beach with a cocktail, with no responsibilities, no demands, no difficulties. But have you ever actually been on a 2-week vacation and found that by the 10th day, a strange restlessness sets in? That you start to feel empty? That's because humans are not designed for perpetual pleasure. We are designed for progress, for growth, for overcoming obstacles. A ship in a harbor is safe, but that is not what a ship is built for. So the pivotal question shifts from, how can I avoid struggle, to which struggle am I willing to embrace? This is the concept of values. Your values are the set of struggles you have consciously or unconsciously chosen as meaningful. They're the problems you are willing to have. They are the pain you are willing to sustain. Most people never choose their values. They inherit them. They absorb them from their parents, their culture, their peer group, and the relentless barrage of advertising and social media. They are running on a default operating system filled with values like always be happy, be perceived as successful, be rich, be admired by everyone, avoid conflict at all costs. These are what we can call superficial values or default values. And they are disastrous because they are often outside of your control and are impossible to consistently maintain. Let's take them one by one. Value. Always be happy. The struggle you've chosen here is the constant, exhausting battle against your own natural emotional spectrum. You will fail, constantly, and each failure will make you feel like a failure, trapping you in the feedback loop from hell we discussed in Chapter 1. Value. Be perceived as successful. The struggle you've chosen here is the endless performance. You must constantly manage other people's opinions of you. You have to buy the right things, say the right things, and hide any sign of weakness or failure. This is a prison of your own making, and the warden is everyone else. Value. Be rich. The struggle here is the relentless anxiety of more. No amount is ever enough. The billionaire compares themselves to the multi-billionaire. This value ensures you will always feel a sense of lack, no matter your actual financial situation. Value. Be admired by everyone. The struggle here is the impossibility of pleasing 8 billion people with different tastes, biases, and expectations. You will become a social chameleon, losing any sense of your authentic self in the process. Value. Avoid conflict at all costs.
The struggle you've chosen is the slow, soul-crushing erosion of your own boundaries and self-respect. You will swallow your opinions, tolerate disrespect, and harbor deep resentment, all in the name of a superficial peace. Do you see the pattern? These default values set you up for inevitable failure and misery. The struggles they impose are not meaningful. They are Sisyphean. You roll the boulder up the hill only for it to roll back down forever. So, how do we choose better values? We need to install a new operating system, one built on what we can call foundational values or constructive values. Good values are reality-based. They are grounded in facts and are achievable. Socially constructive. They improve your relationships and your community. Immediate and controllable. You can live by them right now, in this moment. Their success is not dependent on an external outcome. Let's replace the terrible default values with powerful foundational ones. Instead of always be happy, try emotional honesty. The struggle here is the courageous feel and acknowledge whatever emotion is present without judgment. It's difficult, but it's real, and it's within your control. Instead of be perceived as successful, try mastery and contribution. The struggle here is the focused, daily effort to get better at something that helps others. It's the sweat and frustration of learning a skill and the satisfaction of using it for a purpose larger than yourself. Instead of be rich, try financial responsibility and freedom. The struggle here is the discipline of budgeting, saving, and spending consciously. It's the challenge of aligning your money with your actual values, not your insecurities. Instead of be admired by everyone, try authenticity and integrity. The struggle here is the courage to be your true self, to speak your truth even when it's unpopular, and to act in alignment with your principles regardless of who's watching. Instead of avoid conflict, try clear and compassionate communication. The struggle here is the vulnerable, often uncomfortable work of expressing your needs and listening to the needs of others to find a resolution. It's short-term discomfort for long-term respect and intimacy. Let's make this incredibly practical with a deep, extended example. The story of two artists, Elena and David. Both Elena and David want to be successful artists. This is their stated goal. But beneath this goal lie completely different values, which lead to completely different struggles and outcomes. Elena's value is external validation. Her struggle is to get her work into the most prestigious galleries, to win awards, and to be praised by famous critics. She spends her days networking, crafting perfect Instagram posts, and tailoring her art to what she thinks will sell. She is a constant roller coaster. A positive review sends her into ecstasy. A rejection sends her into a pit of despair. She is chronically anxious because her sense of worth is entirely in the hands of others. The struggle she has chosen is the fickle, unpredictable battle for popular approval. It is a terrible value. David's value is creative integrity and mastery. His struggle is the daily, solitary battle with his craft. His struggle is to wake up early, to face the blank canvas, to work through technical challenges, to be brutally honest with himself about what is and isn't working in his art. He values the process of creation itself. His life has a steady, grounded rhythm. He doesn't control whether people like his work, so he doesn't worry about it. His satisfaction comes from the act of painting, from solving a compositional problem, from seeing his skills slowly improve over years. A rejected gallery application is a minor inconvenience because it doesn't invalidate the meaningful struggle he engaged in to create the work. He has chosen a struggle that is entirely within his control and is inherently fulfilling. Who do you think is happier? Who is more resilient? Who is more likely to create truly great art? Elena is a slave to her value. David is a master of his. This is the power of choosing your struggles wisely. Your action plan, the value audit. It's not enough to understand this intellectually. You must do the work. Right now, I want you to press pause and take out a notebook or open a notes app. We are going to conduct a value audit. Step 1. Identify your current struggles. List the 3 to 5 problems that consume most of your mental and emotional energy. Be brutally honest. Is it constant worry about money? Is it anxiety about what your boss thinks of you? Is it frustration with your partner not helping around the house? Is it exhaustion from keeping up with your friends' lifestyles? Step 2. Uncover the hidden value. For each struggle, ask, what value is causing me to have this problem? If you're always worried about money, your hidden value might be rich or financial security at all costs. If you're anxious about your boss, your value might be please authority figures or be perceived as perfect. If you're frustrated with your partner, your value might be fairness, a good value, but with a poor metric like a 50-50 split on chores, which is hard to measure. If you're exhausted keeping up with your friends, your value is be as good as everyone else. Step 3. Judge the value.
Is this a good value? Is it reality-based? Is it socially constructive? Is it immediate and controllable? Or is it a superficial, default value that's setting you up for pain? Step 4. Choose a new, better struggle. For every bad value you identify, write down a better foundational value you could adopt instead. Replace be rich with financial discipline. Replace please authority figures with competence and reliability. Reframe fairness from a 50-50 scorecard to teamwork and shared goals. Replace be as good as everyone else with personal growth and gratitude. This audit is not a one-time event. It is a practice. You must constantly check in with yourself and ask, is the struggle I'm engaged in right now one I have consciously chosen? Is it moving me toward a meaningful life, or is it just a reaction to a default value I never questioned? The architecture of your life is built on the values you choose. If you build it with the cheap, unstable materials of superficial values, your life will feel shaky and anxious, constantly on the verge of collapse. But if you build it with the strong, resilient materials of foundational values, you can weather any storm. You will have a sense of purpose that no external circumstance can destroy. You are the architect. The blueprint is in your hands. Choose your struggles wisely, because they are, in fact, choosing your life. In the next chapter, we will tackle one of the biggest obstacles to living by good values, our deep-seated, ego-driven need to always be right. We are going to explore the surprising freedom that comes from being gloriously, productively wrong. Chapter 3. The importance of being wrong, the unlikely path to true confidence. If you've been following along and doing the work, you've now taken 2 monumental steps. First, you recognize the feedback loop from hell that keeps you anxious and stuck. Second, you began the vital work of choosing your values, of selecting the meaningful struggles that will form the architecture of your life. But now they arrive at what is perhaps the most difficult hurdle of all. It's a silent, invisible force that sabotages our best intentions, undermines our relationships, and keeps us trapped in cycles of frustration. This force is our deep, psychological, almost primal need to always be right. We are going to spend this entire chapter dismantling this need. We are going to explore why our obsession with being right is making us weak, and why the courageous acceptance of being wrong is the ultimate source of genuine strength and confidence. This isn't just about admitting a mistake in an argument. This is about a fundamental reorientation of your identity. It's about shifting from being a person who is right to being a person who seeks what's right, even and especially when it proves you wrong. Let me introduce a concept that might sound like a contradiction: the wrongness paradox. The wrongness paradox states, the more you are willing to be wrong, the less often you will be. And the more desperately you need to be right, the more likely you are to be mistaken. Think about that for a moment.
The people who are most often correct are not the arrogant know-it-alls. They're the humble, curious individuals who constantly question their own assumptions, who actively look for flaws in their own logic, and who are thrilled to discover they were mistaken because it means they've learned something new. They're more invested in the truth than in their own self-image. Conversely, the person who digs in their heels, who refuses to consider other perspectives, who twists facts to fit their narrative, this person is almost guaranteed to be wrong far more often. Their need to feel right blinds them to what is right. So why is this so hard? Why do we cling to being right with such ferocity, even when it's making us miserable? The answer lies in a fundamental misunderstanding of what it means to be wrong. We have been conditioned to believe that being wrong is a sign of failure, of stupidity, of inadequacy. We see our beliefs and opinions as extensions of ourselves. An attack on our idea feels like an attack on our identity. To be proven wrong feels like an annihilation of the self. This is why political debates turn toxic. This is why family dinners erupt over differing viewpoints. This is why we can't let go of arguments in our own head long after they're over. We aren't just defending a point, we are defending our very worth. But what if we've got it backwards? What if being wrong isn't a sign of a weak mind, but the very engine of a growing one? Let's explore the anatomy of an error through 3 detailed real-world scenarios. Scenario 1, the relationship. The unwashed dish. Maria and Ben are in a conflict that will feel familiar to many. Ben leaves his dishes in the sink. Maria interprets this through her value of consideration. Her story is, if he loved and respected me, he would clean up after himself. He's leaving this for me because he doesn't value my time or my work. This makes her feel angry and resentful. Ben, when confronted, gets defensive. His story is, I was going to do it later. She's nagging me and trying to control my every move. Nothing I do is ever good enough for her. This makes him feel attacked and unappreciated. Both are invested in being right about their story. Maria is right that a clean sink is important. Ben is right that he shouldn't be micromanaged. But in their desperate need to be right, they are both completely wrong about the situation. They're wrong because they have turned a simple behavior, a dish in the sink, into a grand, dramatic story about their entire relationship and each other's character. They are prioritizing their narrative over their connection.
The solution isn't for one to prove the other wrong. The solution is for both to admit that their initial, ego-driven story is probably wrong. What if Ben is just forgetful and overwhelmed with work? What if Maria is stressed from managing a million other household tasks and the dish is the final straw? What if the real issue isn't love or respect, but a simple, practical need for a better system? The moment they can say, my initial interpretation might be wrong, the door to a solution swings open. They can move from being adversaries to being teammates solving a shared problem. Scenario 2, the career, the failed project. David was leading a project that failed spectacularly. His immediate ego-protecting instinct is to craft a story where he is right. The marketing team didn't give me the right data. The client kept changing their mind. My team wasn't competent enough. This story allows David to be right about whose fault it was, but it makes him powerless. If it was everyone else's fault, then he can't fix it. He is a victim of circumstance. Now, imagine David chooses to be wrong. He sits down and says, what if my initial plan was flawed from the start? What if I failed to communicate the vision clearly to my team? What if I missed the warning signs because I was too invested in being the hero? This is painful. It's a blow to the ego. But it is incredibly empowering because if he was wrong, then he can fix it. He can learn to create better plans, become a better communicator, and develop a sharper eye for risk. By accepting being wrong, he gains control over his future success.
Scenario 3, the personal goal, the fitness journey. Sarah sets a goal to get in shape. She commits to a brutal 7-day-a-week workout regimen and a strict 1,200-calorie diet. Within 3 weeks, she's exhausted, hungry, and miserable. She quits. Her ego's story: I'm just not disciplined enough. I'm lazy. I'm a failure. This story allows her to be right about her pre-existing belief that she lacks willpower. But what if that story is wrong? What if the problem wasn't her character, but her strategy? What if the goal was too extreme, too unsustainable? What if a gentler 3-day-a-week routine with a more flexible diet would have been not only achievable, but enjoyable? By clinging to the "I'm a failure" story, she remains stuck. By accepting that her method was wrong, she can find a new, better path forward. She can trade a story of inherent inadequacy for a practical problem with a practical solution. Underlying all of this is a powerful psychological mechanism known as cognitive dissonance. This is the mental discomfort we feel when we hold two conflicting ideas at once. For example, "I am a smart, capable person" conflicts with "I made a stupid mistake." The brain hates this discomfort, so it performs mental gymnastics to resolve it. It will dismiss contrary evidence. That source isn't credible. Double down on the original belief. "I'm not wrong, the world is." Or find a tribe that agrees with us. "See, all my friends think the same thing." This is the biology of the feedback loop from hell, applied to our beliefs. Our brain would rather create an elaborate, internally consistent fantasy than face the simple, humble truth that it was mistaken. So, how do we fight our own biology? How do we train ourselves, not just to tolerate being wrong, but to actively seek out our own errors? We need a practice. I call it the wrongness workout. It's a series of mental exercises to strengthen your wrongness muscle. Exercise 1, the daily assumption audit. Every evening, review your day and find one assumption you made that turned out to be incorrect. It can be small. "I assumed that meeting would be a waste of time, but I actually got one useful idea." Or, "I assumed my partner was in a bad mood because of me, but they were just stressed about work." Or, "I assumed I wouldn't enjoy that podcast, but it was fascinating." The goal is not to beat yourself up. The goal is to normalize the experience of being wrong, to rewire your brain to see it as a routine event, not a catastrophic failure. Exercise 2, the thought experiment of inversion. When you're facing a problem or holding a strong belief, deliberately argue for the opposite side. If you believe your boss is being unfair, spend 10 minutes writing down all the reasons why your boss's actions might be perfectly fair. If you're convinced a project will succeed, force yourself to list all the ways it could fail. This isn't about pessimism. It's about intellectual humility. It's about stress testing your ideas before the world does it for you. Exercise 3, the thank you reframe. The next time someone points out that you are wrong, your immediate gut reaction will be defensiveness. In that moment, I want you to pause and say 2 words. Thank you. Say it out loud. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you for correcting me. This does 2 things. First, it short-circuits the ego's defensive panic. And second, it fundamentally transforms the social dynamic. You're no longer in a battle for supremacy. You are in a collaboration for the truth. You turn a potential enemy into an ally. The ultimate reward for this difficult work is a state of being that is far more valuable than the fleeting high of being right. It is called confidence. Most people confuse confidence with certainty. They think a confident person is one who is sure they are right. But that's not confidence.
That's blindness. That's brittleness. The first time reality proves them wrong, their false confidence shatters. True, unshakable confidence is not confidence in always being right. It is confidence in your ability to handle being wrong. It's the deep-seated knowledge that even if your beliefs are flawed, your plans fail, or your ego gets bruised, you will be okay. You have the resilience to learn, to adapt, and to grow. Your self-worth is not tied to your infallibility. The person who is terrified of being wrong is incredibly fragile. They must control every conversation, avoid every risk, and dismiss every critique. They live in a prison of their own making. The person who embraces being wrong is intellectually and emotionally anti-fragile. They thrive on disconfirmation. They are flexible, adaptable, and open. They are like a tree that bends in the wind, rather than a rigid statue that cracks under pressure. This is the profound liberation we are working toward. It is the freedom that comes from disentangling your identity from your opinions. It is the power that emerges when you stop defending a fragile self-image and start pursuing the truth with ruthless curiosity.
Chapter 4. You are not special. The liberating power of embracing your ordinary, beautiful humanity. We now arrive at what is perhaps the most counterintuitive, the most culturally rebellious, and for many, the most personally challenging principle we will discuss. It is a notion that flies directly in the face of decades of self-esteem seminars, participation trophies, and the entire ethos of our modern, hyper-individualistic society. The principle is this: you are not special. Before you react, before that knot of defensiveness tightens in your stomach, understand this. I am not saying you are not valuable. I am not saying you are not unique. I am not saying you do not matter. What I am saying is that you are not inherently more important, more deserving, or more significant than the nearly 8 billion other human beings sharing this planet with you. This chapter is not an attack on your worth. It is an invitation to freedom. It is about freeing yourself from the exhausting, impossible, and ultimately miserable burden of having to constantly prove that you are extraordinary. We have been sold a lie that tells us from childhood that we are one in a million, that we can be anything we want to be, that the world is waiting for our unique light to shine. While well-intentioned, this cultural narrative has created what psychologists now call the culture of exceptionalism. It's a pandemic of perceived specialness, and its symptoms are everywhere. Skyrocketing rates of anxiety, depression, and a deep, pervasive sense of entitlement and dissatisfaction. Why? Because if you were told you are one in a million, but your life feels painfully ordinary, the logical conclusion is that you are a failure. You have failed to live up to your innate, preordained specialness. The problem, you assume, must be you. But the problem isn't you. The problem is the premise. Let's trace the origins of this myth and understand the three primary forces that have engineered this crisis of expectation. The historical engine, the rise of individualism. For most of human history, identity was collective. You were a member of a family, a tribe, a village, a religion. Your value was derived from your role within the group. Your survival was tied to the survival of the collective. The concept of finding yourself would have been nonsensical. You were already defined by your relationships and duties. The Enlightenment and the Industrial Revolution began to shift this. Individual rights, personal liberty, and self-determination became paramount. This was, in many ways, a magnificent human achievement, but it also severed our connection to collective identity, leaving a void. Into that void stepped the modern self-help and consumer culture, which offered a new source of identity: personal achievement and consumption. You were no longer a cog in the community machine. You were a brand, and your brand had to be special. The psychological engine, the Lake Wobegon effect. This is a cognitive bias where we all believe we are above average. The term comes from the fictional town of Lake Wobegon, where all the women are strong, all the men are good-looking, and all the children are above average. Statistically, this is impossible, yet studies consistently show that the vast majority of people rate themselves as better than average drivers, more intelligent than their peers, and more ethical than the norm. This isn't just harmless self-deception, it creates a distorted reality. When you believe you are above average by default, you feel entitled to above-average rewards with below-average effort. When those rewards don't materialize, you don't question the premise, you feel cheated by the world. The frustration is immense because the injustice feels personal. The economic engine, the attention marketplace. Social media is not a communication tool, it is an attention market. Your personal brand is the product, and attention is the currency. To succeed in this market, you must stand out. You must be special. You must be extraordinary. You must be living your best life. We are now in a global 24/7 competition for validation, measured in likes, shares, and followers. This has externalized our sense of worth. Our value is no longer an internal feeling, it is a publicly traded metric. This creates what sociologists call status anxiety, a constant low-grade fear that we are falling behind our peers in the race for social capital. The convergence of these three engines has created a perfect storm of misery. We are isolated individuals, historical engine, who irrationally believe we deserve more, psychological engine, in a system that constantly reminds us of everyone else's apparent success, economic engine. The result is a society of people who are terrified of being ordinary. Let's examine the devastating consequences of this terror through two extended, in-depth case studies. Case Study 1, The Burnout of Alex, the Pursuit of Specialness in Career. Alex graduated at the top of his class. He was told he was gifted, promising, and destined for great things. He entered the workforce with the unshakable belief that he was special and that his career would be a meteoric rise. His first job was a job. It involved tedious tasks, office politics, and a boss that didn't recognize his genius. His interpretation, filtered through the lens of exceptionalism, was, "This is beneath me. This company doesn't deserve me. I am too special for this." He grew resentful. He did the bare minimum, believing that his specialness entitled him to a better position without having to earn it through grunt work. He jumped to a second job, then a third, replicating the same pattern. At each one, he was passed over for promotions in favor of less brilliant but more diligent, humble, and reliable colleagues.
A decade later, Alex is burned out, cynical, and filled with a deep sense of betrayal. The world, he believes, has failed to recognize his specialness. But the world didn't fail Alex. Alex's values failed him. He valued the identity of being special over the process of becoming skilled. He wanted the reward without the struggle. He was so busy protecting his self-image as an exceptional person that he failed to do the ordinary, unexceptional work that is the actual foundation of any extraordinary career. The solution for Alex wasn't to manifest a better job. It was to undergo a values transplant. He needed to replace the value of being recognized as special with the value of mastery and contribution. He needed to find satisfaction in the slow, often boring process of getting better. He needed to embrace the ordinary struggle of showing up every day. Case Study 2. The Loneliness of Chloe, the Pursuit of Specialness in Relationships. Chloe grew up on a diet of romantic comedies and fairy tales. She believed in the one, a soulmate who would complete her, who would intuitively understand her every need, and with whom every day would be a grand romantic adventure. In her real-life relationships, conflict was inevitable.
Her partner would forget an anniversary, be stressed and withdrawn after a bad day, or simply want to watch TV instead of having a deep, meaningful conversation. Chloe's interpretation, through the lens of romantic exceptionalism, was, "He's not the one. If he were my soulmate, he would never do this. This relationship isn't special enough." She would end relationships at the first sign of ordinary human imperfection. She was in a perpetual search for a perfect storybook romance that doesn't exist. She was chasing a feeling of specialness, not building a real connection. Now in her late 30s, Chloe is profoundly lonely. She has had a series of intense, short-lived flings, but no lasting partnership. She believes true love has eluded her. But love didn't elude Chloe. Chloe eluded love. She valued the fantasy of a special relationship over the reality of building a good one. She was unwilling to engage in the ordinary, unglamorous, and difficult work of communication, compromise, and forgiveness, the very work that forges the deepest bonds. The solution for Chloe was to replace the value of finding a perfect soulmate with the value of becoming a loving partner. She needed to find the specialness not in the person, but in the practice of love itself, in the daily ordinary choices to be kind, patient, and understanding. So, how do we dismantle this deeply ingrained belief in our own specialness? It requires a conscious, daily practice of humility and reorientation. Here is your toolkit. Tool 1. Practice ordinary mindfulness. Throughout your day, deliberately notice and appreciate the utterly ordinary moments, the taste of your morning coffee, the feeling of the sun on your skin during a walk, the sound of rain against the window, the mundane conversation with a coworker. Do not try to make these moments profound or Instagram-worthy. Simply experience them as they are. This practice grounds you in the reality of your life, as it is, not as you feel it should be to be special. Tool 2. Conduct a privilege inventory. Take an honest accounting of the unearned advantages you have. Were you born in a peaceful country? Did you have parents who fed and educated you? Do you have access to clean water and the internet? Acknowledge that a significant portion of your life's circumstances are the result of sheer luck, not your inherent specialness. This is not an exercise in guilt, but in gratitude and perspective. It connects you to the common humanity of luck and chance that we all share. Tool 3. Engage in invisible service. Do something genuinely helpful for someone with absolutely no expectation of recognition or reward. Shovel your neighbor's driveway before they wake up. Make a small anonymous donation. Leave a positive note for a colleague without signing it. The goal is to derive satisfaction from the act of contribution itself, divorcing it entirely from your ego's need for external validation. You're practicing being a valuable part of the whole, not a special star above it. Tool 4. Celebrate the ordinary in others. Make a conscious effort to compliment people not on their innate talents or achievements, but on their character and effort. Tell your friend, "I really admire your consistency with your workout routine," instead of, "You're so naturally disciplined." Thank your partner by saying, "I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me," rather than, "You're such a great listener." This shifts your own focus from fixed specialness to growth and action, and it encourages the same in others. The ultimate goal of this work is to arrive at a state of profound inner peace. It is the peace that comes from no longer being at war with reality. It is the peace of accepting that you are a beautifully ordinary human being, with all the limitations, flaws, and magnificence that entails. When you embrace your ordinary nature, something miraculous happens. The pressure vanishes. The need to perform, to impress, to outshine, it simply evaporates. You are free to focus on what truly matters, connecting with others, contributing to something larger than yourself,
and finding joy in the simple, unremarkable process of living. This is not a lowering of your standards, it is a raising of your consciousness. It is an upgrade from the fragile, high-maintenance software of exceptionalism to the robust, resilient operating system of humanity. You are not a snowflake. You are a wave in the ocean. You are a unique, temporary pattern in a vast, interconnected whole. And there is a deep, abiding, and limitless freedom in that. In our final chapter, we will bring all of these principles together under the light of the one undeniable truth that gives them all their ultimate meaning and urgency. We will confront the reality of our own mortality not as a morbid end, but as the most powerful tool we have to prioritize our lives, cherish our moments, and finally start giving our F's about what truly, deeply matters.
Chapter 5. And Then You Die. The Ultimate Priority Filter. If the ideas we've explored so far have felt challenging, if they've made you uncomfortable or even resistant, then you are exactly where you need to be. You've confronted the feedback loop that amplifies your anxiety. You've begun the difficult work of choosing your struggles and values. You've started to dismantle your ego by embracing the power of being wrong, and you've taken on the monumental task of freeing yourself from the crushing burden of your own supposed specialness. These are the battles that define a life of purpose, but they all float in a vacuum without the one undeniable, non-negotiable reality that gives them their razor-sharp urgency and profound meaning. That reality is your own mortality. The title of this chapter is not a pessimistic punchline. It is the foundational truth of your existence. And Then You Die is the beginning of the conversation, not the end. We live our lives in a state of what psychologists call death denial. We push the thought of our own ending into the far corners of our mind, treating it as a distant, abstract concept, a morbid thought to be avoided. We build elaborate mental fortresses of busyness, ambition, and distraction to keep this truth at bay. But in doing so, we are committing a catastrophic error. We are ignoring the single most powerful tool for creating a focused, passionate, and truly fulfilling life. This chapter is about weaponizing your mortality. It's about taking the fact of your inevitable death off the shelf, dusting it off, and installing it as the central operating system for your daily decisions. It is about staring into the finite nature of your time on this planet and allowing that stare to burn away everything that is trivial, superficial, and false. Let me introduce you to the framework that will change how you allocate your time, your energy, and your fucks. I call it the mortality metric. The mortality metric is a simple, brutal, and incredibly effective filter for every decision, big and small. It consists of asking yourself one question. In the face of my inevitable death, does this matter?
This is not a question about what is easy, comfortable, or socially approved. This is a question about what is true. It cuts through the noise of other people's expectations, your own fragile ego, and the endless trivialities of modern life with the precision of a scalpel. Let's apply the mortality metric to the common sources of our suffering and see how it instantly reorients our perspective. The mortality metric versus the feedback loop from hell. You are lying awake at 2 a.m., agonizing over a mildly awkward comment you made at a party. The feedback loop is in full effect. You feel embarrassed, then you feel anxious about feeling embarrassed, and so on. Now, apply the filter. Question: in the face of my inevitable death,
Does this awkward comment matter? Answer: it is a resounding, echoing, absolute no. Result: the loop is broken. The anxiety loses its power. The mental energy you are wasting on this triviality is instantly liberated. You are free. The mortality metric versus poorly chosen values. You are considering taking a high-paying, prestigious job that you know will demand 80-hour weeks, strain your relationships, and fill you with dread. The default value of be perceived as successful is pulling you hard. Question: on my deathbed, will I look back and be grateful I spent those years in that office, sacrificing my health and my connections for a title and a larger bank account? Answer: it is almost certainly another no. Result: the superficial value is exposed as a hollow trap. You are now free to choose a struggle that is actually meaningful to you, perhaps one that allows for presence, connection, or genuine contribution, even if it pays less. The mortality metric versus the fear of being wrong. You are in a heated argument with your partner. Your ego is screaming to win, to prove your point, to be right. Question: when one of us is on our deathbed, will we care who was right about whose turn it was to take out the trash, or will we only care about the love, the connection, and the time we shared? Answer: the truth becomes painfully, beautifully clear. Result: your need to be right evaporates. You can drop your defenses, apologize, and reconnect. You choose the relationship over your ego. The mortality metric versus the burden of specialness. You are paralyzed by the fear of starting a creative project, writing a book, learning an instrument, launching a small business, because you're terrified it won't be exceptional, that it will be mediocre, and that this mediocrity will prove you are not special. Question: on the last day of my life, will I be happier that I tried and created something imperfect, or that I never tried at all because I was afraid it wouldn't be a masterpiece? Answer: the value of creating, of participating, of expressing yourself wins every single time. Result: the pressure to be special is replaced by the joy of being a participant. You are free to be a beginner, to be bad, to be ordinary, and to find the profound meaning in the act itself. The power of this filter lies in its ability to instantly separate the signal from the noise. The noise is everything that feels urgent, but is in the long arc of a life completely insignificant. The signal is what remains when the noise is stripped away. Love, growth, connection, contribution, and the authentic experience of being alive. To make this practical, we need to move from a philosophical filter to a daily practice. This requires what the ancient Stoics called memento mori, the remembrance of death. It is not a practice of morbidity, but of vivid and urgent clarity. Here is your memento mori toolkit. Tool 1, the eulogy exercise. This is the most powerful exercise in this entire book. Set a timer for 20 minutes. Sit down with a notebook and write 2 eulogies for yourself. The first eulogy. Write the eulogy that would be given based on the life you are living right now. What would people say about your priorities, your character, your relationships? Is it filled with mentions of your busyness, your job title, your possessions? Or is it filled with stories of your kindness, your integrity, your love, and your impact? The second eulogy. Write the eulogy you wish would be given. Be specific. What values do you want to have embodied? What kind of friend, partner, parent, or colleague do you want to be remembered as? What small moments of connection would people recall? The gap between these 2 eulogies is your to-do list for the rest of your life. This exercise bridges the abstract concept of death with the tangible daily actions of your life. It defines your target with stunning clarity. Tool 2. The Deathbed Decision Filter. For any significant decision, a career move, a major purchase, a relocation, a relationship commitment, engage in a specific visualization. Close your eyes and vividly imagine yourself as an old person lying on your deathbed, reflecting on your life. Now, look back at the decision you are about to make. From this perspective, what does your older, wiser self advise you to do? Do they urge you to take the risk for the sake of growth? Do they tell you to prioritize the relationship over the money? This perspective shrinks short-term fears and amplifies long-term meaning. Tool 3. The Weekly Mortality Review. Every Sunday evening, spend just 5 minutes with these 3 questions. What did I do this week that will truly matter when I'm on my deathbed? What did I worry about or spend time on this week that will be utterly irrelevant when I'm on my deathbed? And what one thing can I do next week to close the gap between my 2 eulogies? This practice keeps the mortality metric active and fresh in your mind, preventing you from sliding back into the unconscious trance of death denial. When you fully internalize this, a profound shift occurs. You stop chasing a feeling called happiness, you stop performing for an audience, you stop waiting for permission. The need for external validation crumbles because you are being guided by a deeper, more urgent authority, the truth of your limited time. This is the final subtle art. It is the art of using the certainty of the end to fully appreciate the beauty of the middle. The difficult conversation with your parent becomes precious because one day you will long for it. The ordinary Tuesday night dinner with your family becomes a sacred ritual. The struggle you've chosen for your career becomes a privilege because you get to struggle, you get to feel, you get to be. You will still give Fs, but now you will give them strategically, sparingly, and powerfully. You will invest them only in the struggles you have consciously chosen, the relationships you are actively building, the values you are courageously embodying, and the ordinary moments you are fully present for. Your death is not waiting for you at the end of a long road. It is walking with you every single step of the way. It is your most faithful companion and your most ruthless editor. And when you befriend it, when you listen to its quiet, urgent whisper, you finally stop giving a fuck about all the wrong things and you start living for all the right ones. This is the end of this summary, but it is the beginning of your life. The rest is up to you.